How good is a world champion? How good is he? Everything is comparative. You say you have the world's best pizza. Obviously, you are comparing that to other pizzas that you had. The fast reader, fast with math. Okay, but obviously that's a comparison to a group of other people who don't read that same material at the same rate. And the same would go with solving the math equations, right? Now, I ask you that because how good is a fighter? If he's with a big organization, if he's undefeated with a big organization, if he is undefeated with a big organization, and he's been that way for 10 years. If he's been that way for 10 years with a big organization, and of course we're talking about undefeated, well, what if he's the world champion? Have we now established how good he is? He's the best in the world. Is that true, though? Do you believe that? I know that that is our intent, and I know it's what we want to be true. I know we would even agree that that's what it should mean. But is there any division we've ever looked at, and I do mean ever, where we were satisfied with the guy that was at top? We were satisfied that as far as proving yourself, he had already done that. It feels more like a situation that we're seeing at 145 pounds right now, where a guy that can beat everybody, a guy that has dominated everybody, a guy that got the crown of greatest featherweight ever in Volkanovski, it would seem as though he and Max, who have separated themselves from the field, both tasted the ultimate glory of a world championship, were both stopped by the same guy. So therefore, that guy then, Ilia Topuria, who also turns out to be undefeated, he must be the best. He must be. But we got this Brian Lopez to deal with. And into the weight class now is a new addition from 135 named Aljamain Sterling. Like, to call yourself the champion of the division, you being undefeated is really helpful, for sure. But if Aljo, at the same time that you're fighting, right, at the same time that you're competing, Aljo can also say, I was a world champion. Aljo can say, at 145 pounds, I've never lost. And all of a sudden, okay, well, let's get this guy and let's get Aljo together. Let's erase that so there's no other world champions floating around the division that we haven't yet dealt with. Would it make him the best then? And for that scenario we just gave, probably what standardly will happen is somebody at the UFC will recognize we don't have a lot of known household 45-pounders. Ilia Topuria looks like he's going to hold that belt for a while, but holding that belt for a while could be 1 year. 1 year could signify 3 matches. So he's already defended it once. Do you really think he can defend it successfully 3 more times? Wow, that'd be a lot. That'd really be a lot. But in that period of a year, we could take some 45-pounders who are very good. They're very good now. They haven't found a microphone. They haven't found their base on social media, but they've got the skills that are needed. And now we just need to identify that for you, the audience. And the question of who's the best starts all over again. It's a good place to have your division. It's a good place to have multiple divisions within your company if you're in Dana White's position, which is the top of the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Now, I illustrate that point, and I think it's worth taking the time to illustrate it because Dana came out and he said something, man, and it kind of caught me off left field. I love it. I'm not surprised he said it. What I'm surprised is he's just now saying it and hadn't said it before. But what Dana said, without any further ado, he said, I just cannot imagine, fathom is the word he used. Fathom. Stronger word than imagine. I could not fathom either Stipe or Jon walking away with the belt and not competing against Tom. And there's a lot on that. First off, I thought we had been given and I thought we had accepted the resignation of Stipe Miocic. That's what I thought. Whether he's got 1 fight left on his deal, don't give him a new one because he's done. If he's got 8 fights on his deal, don't bother him. Get him out of the pool. Don't go surprise him. Don't line him up a fight. He is done. I thought that we all accepted that. I know I had. I never questioned it. I understand fully why Stipe would want this challenge, would want this one more, would want to go out on top, but either way, realize his chance of even getting to prove he's on top at 41 plus years of age isn't going to come back. And he doesn't want to be one of the boys. He doesn't want to be just on the card. He wants to be the headliner in the main event. Nothing wrong with any of those things. I've just accepted them all to be true. And a loss to Jon Jones would negate those statements from furthering being true. And therefore, a retirement is the most reasonable remedy. Now I'm hearing that Dana does not believe Stipe would win and vacate the heavyweight title. He believes Stipe would do one more with Jon. And by the way, that's where Dana stopped talking. Now, I don't ever like to put words into Dana's mouth. I don't like to play that game. I'll just share for you when I do have to sit back and analyze something, because I wasn't in the room to do back and forth with the questions. I'm limited to what Elbow and Mania put out as far as quotes. I will notice something that was missing, which was if Stipe beats Jon. So therefore, Stipe then goes into Tom. Stipe does not fight Tom any other way than success over Jon. And that is a massive compliment. That what if, or that this could happen, is a massive pat on the back to Stipe, but it doesn't allude to retire that he would need to beat Aspinall. Dana's contention was just with a victory over Jon Jones. He cannot fathom Stipe calling it a career without standing in that octagon in a competitive format with Tom Aspinall. And that part of it is interesting, right? I mean, every drinker, anyone that's ever had a drinking problem, when they went through the deal process, right, they got to quit, and they got to quit 20 times. But one of the reasons is when they make a deal, it's, okay, I'm going to have that drink. But when that drink's done, I'm done. Or tonight, I got one last hurrah. But after tonight, wherever that takes us and whatever it means, I will never touch that stuff again. Gambler. He's at the table. I'm done gambling. This has been bad for me. This has been bad for my family. One last roll of the dice. Oh my God, it came up snake eyes. I just tripled my money. Oh God, well, I at least get to play the triple part of my money down, don't I? And just like that, they'd forgotten the deal. And they've forgotten that there was a real hope initially to go out on top. So I think we learned a lot from Dana making that statement. If Stipe wins, Dana feels that Stipe will stick around and he will fight with Tom. Heaven knows he doesn't need to. One wife, all his kids with the same woman. Like there's ways in this world to go broke. Nothing separates a man from his wealth like divorce. None of those are even in Stipe's vocabulary. I'm just sharing with you, like, he can walk for sure. Jon is not in a position to walk. That is promotion. That is promotion to sell upon you guys. Jon must fight. Whether Jon wins this next one or loses the next one, he needs one more. Whether he wins or loses that, he needs one more. He could probably call it right about there. I don't say that to give you too much of Jon's business. I didn't think this place or this piece was even all that much about Jon. It was that Dana who has told us that Stipe's retiring. It's Dana who has consistently told us that. Stipe has told us nothing different. Jon Jones hasn't revealed that he understands it in a different way. Tom Aspinall is laser focused on Jon Jones, doesn't have any thoughts of fighting Stipe unless it's as a last minute replacement in New York in 2 weeks. It would seem as everybody needs to rethink things. If you go 4 guys in a room, you often get 4 different opinions. But when those 4 guys, 3 of them's fighters and 1 of them is Dana White, the boss's opinion always wins out, which means with a little bit of luck, Stipe Miocic is not just going to be the champion of the world. He's also potentially the next opponent for Tom Aspinall.